Breaking a streak lasting over 500 days, someone has finally taken a tournament over a cake assault. And if that isn't enough to keep you watching, I don't know what to tell you. With over 100 players converging in the city of Phoenix, Arizona last weekend for perhaps the most storied tournament series in Rivals of Aether, Heatwave 5 will go down in history as one of the best brackets of all time, featuring veteran players making ridiculous comebacks, new faces pulling off massive upsets, and a player who made top 8 picking characters with a 6-sided die. You heard that right. That's not a joke. We've got a mountain of storylines to unravel from this weekend, so settle in as we weave threads together and tell the tale of one of the greatest super majors in the history of the game. My name is Giga, from Stats of Aether, and you're watching the Rivals Recap. Before we can get to the climax of the story, which is Seggo's victory over Cake Assault, it's important to paint a picture of all the events that led up to that historic upset. Looking at the seed projection spread, we can already see just how volatile this bracket really was, with a displacement of 10 whole spots between the upper and lower limits. To give a comparison, the displacement spread of Riptide 2022, another super major this year, infamous for its volatility, was only 6 spots. To even get into top 32 on Saturday, players had to make some serious runs, punching well above their predicted seeds. Such was the case of Oklahoma Crag Onesie, who was there to rep his state and take some names. After falling to niceness in just round 2 of pools, it was looking to be a quick exit for Onesie, facing down Premier Claren main Uda for elimination in a run back from Riptide 2022 earlier in the year. Onesie, however, cemented himself as not just Uda's new bracket demon, but a force to be reckoned with, winning in a very close 3-2 set to make top 32 losers, knocking Uda out at 33rd place for the second time this season. Next up in his bracket path was Dr. Gabe, aka Jungle James Jr., a top Zeteran player from Australia who recently moved stateside. Once again, Onesie would prove his mettle, taking a 3-0 victory over Gabe to advance one stage further in the bracket, where his run ended at 17th place to Darai. Paired with similar good performances from his fellow Oklahoma natives Rakai and Miles Manners, OK RoA has proven that you can never sleep on the Panhandle state. Moving even further south, coming all the way from Chile and representing the Latin American rival scene, Vpajaro showed up big time at Heatwave. For those of you not in the know, Vpajaro is an absolute institution of the Latam scene. His proficiency with the entire cast, TO prowess, and his wealth of game knowledge has named him one of, if not the best player on the entire continent. Thanks to a donation drive from community members and some extra help from SBS's bank account, he was able to travel to the US for the very first time to compete in an offline event via the RCS Compendium. Even for his first foray into in-person events, he refused to pull any punches, as he took out long-time established players like Spiker FX and Zora, both in 3-0 fashion, to finish at 17th place, going 2 rounds further than he was expected to, or scoring a +2 SPR over his projected 40th seed. It just goes to show you that there are strong competitors all over the world, not just in North America. If you'd like to hear more about international talent in other scenes, make sure to leave a like on this video and comment with your thoughts. We'll see what we can do. Without a doubt, the most chaotic part of Heatwave was the race to top 8, where players expected to cruise onto the big stage were blown out of bracket left and right, sometimes from the most unexpected competitors, such as was the case of longtime hidden boss Subserial, a player most known for his low-key top player upsets and his unique style of character picking. Now, your average player probably only mains one character, with maybe a secondary or 2 for unfavorable matchups. A select few of the more dedicated in the community dual main, training 2 characters to nearly equal skill in order to swap freely between them. But Subserial? He mains 6 characters, in a style known as selective random. Quick aside, Rivals actually has a selective random feature built into it, but because neither player knows what character the random user is going before the game starts, it is banned in RCS tournaments. This has led to Subserial creating an ingenious way to pick between his mains. Before the start of the game, he rolls a 6-sided die, and the number he rolls dictates which character he plays. If he rolls a 1, he plays Malo, 2 Claren, 3 Forsburn, 4 Sylvanos, 5 Maple, and 6 Ori. This emulates the random function in-game while also following RCS rules, with the added benefit of added hype as the crowd watches Subserial test his luck. Now, to the closed-minded in the audience, this might seem like a strategy tailor-made for somebody who doesn't actually intend on winning any sets. Well, joke's on you. Subserial ended this weekend with a +3 SPR, making his absolute best run to date. To even make it out of his pool, Subserial pulled a 3-2 upset over the Banana Man himself, Giga, in order to end up on winner's side of top 32. There, he would go up against Arizona's hometown hero and the best Clarin player in the world, Plastic Dinos. Dinos, a shoe-in for top 8 winners, was looking to be the wall stopping Subserial's winner's side run. But Subsy had other plans. Either by pure luck or sheer force of will, Subserial somehow managed to roll Sylvanos 4 separate times over the course of the set, a character that's widely considered to be Clarin's worst matchup by far. Subserial Sylv also just happens to be one of his best characters, if not the best, and holds a spot in the contention for one of the best Sylvs in the world. The odds of this happening, by the way, are less than 1 in 300. Riding off the coattails of Lady Luck, Subserial would take the set over Dinos in a close 3-2 victory to advance. After being knocked into losers by Seggo soon after, he would once again pull off an upset nobody could have predicted. This time taking out veteran top 10 player and the person who invented Crag, MSB, to make top 8 on loser's side, sending MSB home in 9th place, something he is unfortunately no stranger to this season. Subsy would finally finish out the tournament at 7th place, making top 8 at a super major playing random is a feat that nearly defies all understanding. And after this past weekend, Subserial has fully cemented himself as no longer just a hidden boss, but a potential top 10 player. And yet still, he was only just one piece of the puzzle in the series of upsets that shook our expectations for this event. Another contributor was Bullets, an old-school Atlas legend going to his first major event in 3 years. After such a long hiatus, many were already writing off the Canadian as a has-been. But let's just say, during the course of this bracket, Bullets has proven that he isn't washing up anytime soon, blowing his seed projection out of the water with a remarkable +3 SPR. Not only did he take out rising stars like Uda and Y over the course of his winner's side run, but also defeated Cheesy Potato in an incredibly clutch reverse 3-0 to make top 8. There, he would square off against Cake Assault, in a matchup Cake's character Forsburn has been known to struggle with severely. Everyone watched with bated breath as he was able to take the first game, but hopes were quickly dashed as Cake would ultimately make the adaptations he needed to send him to loser's side 3-1. In losers, he immediately fought a nail-biter Game 5 set versus NBAD, but ultimately it would end out in the Canadian Ori's favor, finishing his run at 5th. It seems despite the years off, Bullet's skills haven't deteriorated at all, and we will be... Wait, hang on a minute. He was eliminated for 5th by... NBAD? NBAD got 4th place at a super major? Yes, that isn't an error in the script. After losing in pools to Darai, the drunken master Canadian renegade NBAD would embark on an incredible 7-set losers run. He took out Scooter, Anti, Y, Protagify, ZB, Subserial, and Bullets, all in a row to finish out at 4th place, his highest ever placing at a major event. Not only did his run include multiple players seeded to make top 8, but alongside that, he managed to score a combined SPR of +5, the highest out of anyone at the event. Seriously, there were moments in his gauntlet where he straight up looked like a TAS. To put it simply, it's one of the best Rivals losers runs ever performed, one to make even the GOAT jealous. Even with all that, there are still more players who made unexpected runs deep into the bracket. After a slew of impressive wins over the likes of players such as Onesie, NBAD, and Chompers, Darai would find himself one match away from nabbing top 8 at his super major. His opponent? Cheesy Potato, Darai's longtime practice partner and SoCal rival. They've actually already played at a major this year, a double down in July, where Cheesy was able to nab the W in a 3-1 victory. Perhaps fueled by his previous loss, Darai managed to win out in a very tense set, matching the same score as before except in Darai's favor, 3-1. In top 8, he was forced to face off against Sparks21. The Eliana aficionado had to nab similar wins to make it this far, as he took out top-level contenders like Spiker, Tabscott, and even MSB, only losing to Cake Assault to end up on loser's side of top 8. Going up against Darai, he looked strong, managing to turn Darai's counterpicks against him, and ultimately winning the set with a solid 3-1. His match in losers quarters was against Akashi, and though the set would cut it very close, going the distance all the way to Game 5, Akashi would end up with the win, and Sparks made his exit at 5th place. After a year of shaky placements for the Eliana legend, it looks like Sparks is back on top, even better than ever. In a similar vein, Darai's placement at 7th is still a very strong mark for the placings he's gotten this season, and we look forward to seeing him try to maintain that consistency through to the end. With Penguin being absent from this event, it was looking like our final few matches might be devoid of an absent appearance. Instead, however, Akashi, despite already being lined up for top 8 commentary, refused to let this be the case. Following up on his incredible performance at Big House, Akashi would keep the momentum rolling, clawing all the way to 3rd at his best major performance. Notably at Big House, Akashi had to defeat 2 of the 3 best Crag players in the world, as well as Penguin in the Ditto, before being finally stopped by Zeeby. At Heatwave, however, he would get his revenge, knocking Zeeby into loser's side on his path to winner's side top 8. With close losses only to Seggo and Cakesalt, the 1st and 2nd place respectively, Akashi is quickly establishing himself as a player who isn't just a challenger to the pantheon of the gods at the top of the mountain, but a god of the game himself. Not too shabby for someone who's just a commentator. It's finally time for what you've all been waiting for. Let's talk about Sprecher Brewery's own Amit Seggo Carter. Seggo has long been an established top-level competitor, managing to take sets off the best players in the game with seemingly anyone in the cast. For the past few years, and especially this season, however, he has been largely absent due to personal issues. Despite now splitting his time between rivals and his newfound love, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, Seggo has managed to remain top 10 in both games, a feat that speaks volumes to his abilities as a competitor. After winning Cost earlier this year, Seggo disappeared from the public eye, not attending any events in over 6 months. It was uncertain if he would retain the same peaks he had during his previous performances. Those fears, however, would turn out unfounded, as Seggo would blaze past everyone in his path to his seat on the Sunday stage. He took out players like Tabscott, Subserial, and Akashi to find himself in winners finals. Now, if you know anything about Rivals of Aether, you can probably take a good guess who the other player in finals was. After plowing through Plushie Panic, Sparks, and Bullets, Cakesalt sat poised to win his 11th major of the year. So far this season, no one has even come close to stopping Cake's reign of dominance. His string of major tournament wins stretched back all the way to Riptide 2021, and he had so far slain every contender for his throne. Now all that stood in his way was Seggo, a player who has never beaten him offline, let alone won a major. The results of this match seemed decided before it even began, but on this day in November of 2022, the trajectory of this game changed forever.
He is gonna kill! And with that, Seggo beats Cakesalt, the 2nd person to do it this season, now waiting in winner's side of grand finals. Cakesalt sent down to losers once again.
Cake may have been sent to losers, but the job was far from over. There's a reason why people speak about loser's side Cake. After swiftly dismantling Akashi in losers finals, Cake came at Seggo with a vengeance, managing to take the first of the grand finals in a 3-1 victory. This was it. 1 set left to win the tournament, and one last chance for Seggo to stop the Cake sweep. Going all the way to Game 5 with both players' pride on the line, the only thing left to do was see how it would end.
He needs the mix-up from the smoke too to survive.
Oh, and he's not going to get the chance. The forward air closes it out. Seggo makes history, ending Cake's most dominant season so far and getting the Heatwave 5, stopping Cake sweep. Seggo getting the tournament win. He was so confident here.
As the crowd erupted, Seggo joined the ranks of Blue, Cakesalt, Fullstream, and Penguin, becoming the 5th person to ever win an offline super major, as well as the very first to do it with one of the workshop newcomers, cementing himself in Rivals of Aether history. His win at Heatwave 5 is a turning point for the storylines of the scene, and we for one are excited to see where this game will go on from here. If you want to keep up with the history of this game too, make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay updated. My name is Giga, and thank you for watching.